Veilguard is literally just around the corner, so before it releases, I wanted to make a video that combines all my favorite Dragon Age theories, big and small, to make one mega theory about what I think happened in ancient times. To be clear, none of these theories have been proven as of making this video, and there are many other fun theories that contradict these, but these are my favorites that just fit together and make the most sense to me. I will link any videos I've made that address each specific theory as they come up, so you can dive into learning more if you like. Check out the description and any cards that may pop up on the video to learn more. Beware of all spoilers for all of Dragon Age, including Veilguard marketing material. Let's begin. In primordial times, the Fade was the sky, and the earth was the real world, so to speak. They were two distinct realms, but not separated by an impenetrable veil as it is in modern-day Thedas.
Imagine if spirits entered freely. The Fade was not a place one went, but a state of nature like the wind. A world where imagination defines reality, where spirits are as common as trees or grass.
The two realms coexisted on the same plane, in balance and harmony, and both were accessible without having to dream. Dream in reality, chaos and order. The beings of the Fade were spirits, and they eventually made physical bodies to explore their opposing realm and became elves. The beings of the real world were the Titans, with the Dwarves as their avatars, each individual dwarf as part of a greater whole. The spirits of the Fade had mastered their realm. We have power over heaven, let us rule over earth as well, and become greater gods than our father. Threnodies 5:9. They could shapeshift into great dragons, a form reserved for the gods. His crime is high treason. He took on a form reserved for the gods and their chosen, and dared to fly in the shape of the divine. The most powerful spirits wanted even more. Elgar'nan was the first to venture out of his own realm, and bring a bit of the sky, or the Fade, to touch the earth. Long ago, when time itself was young, the only things in existence were the sun and the land. The sun, curious about the land, bowed his head close to her body, and Elgar'nan was born in the place where they touched. Soon, the other most powerful spirits of the Fade realm followed him and came to the earth, creating their own physical bodies. Mythal, Andruil, Junei, Solas, Valandin, and Dirthamin.
No, I just don't know why your people want to look like that.
Eventually, more and more elves began forming physical bodies and coming to the physical world, and the elves began imperializing, spreading their empire and taking over the surface of the earth. The Dwarves, meanwhile, lived underground among the Titans. They were a hive-mind that served as the Titans' limbs, ears, eyes.
I was face deep in a rune, and for a moment, I was tall. Really tall. And I thought all the thoughts. I don't know. As if for a moment I was around all my people, and my thought was all of theirs.
Your thoughts were their thoughts?
No, my thought was all of our thoughts, like parts. Words are mush.
The Dwarves were like little feelers for the Titan to send out into the world, gaining life experiences or memories, and share them with the collective consciousness of the whole colony.
Their ancient shapers were mountains drawn of all their wills, walking their memories into valleys of the world.
It is calm now that it has a connection with one of its children. With me.
But this physical realm was quite different from the Fade than what the elves were used to. It was much more fixed and unchanging, the inverse of their realm. The unchanging world is delicate. Spells of power invite disaster and annihilation. The unchanging world is stubborn. The pull of the earth fiercely resists making fire run like water or stone rise like mist. The unchanging world rings with its own harmony. Listen with fearless hearts, and great works will unfold. The spirits turned elves were having some difficulty with their manifest destiny and wanted to fight for it. They realized that these Titans were the ones with the power to shape the earth in their own way, with their own different kind of magic. Elgar'nan, wrath and thunder, give us glory, give us victory over the earth that shakes our cities. Strike the usurpers with your lightning. Burn the ground under your gaze. Bring winged death against those who throw down our work. Elgar'nan, help us tame the land. So the elves went to war. They wanted the power over the earth, and the power that lyrium provided their magic.
Lyrium. The Titan's blood is lyrium.
And the ultimate tool for power? A Titan heart, the very source of the blood. The powerful Evanuris amassed armies, some of whom were unwilling slaves. They even used lyrium, the blood of Titans, to write their blood writing, Valisleen. Lyrium provided the Titans with an ability to exert their will over the Dwarves, and the Elves appropriated this power to control their own subjects.
The Valisleen, they are slave markings, or at least they were in the time of ancient ARLATHAN.
So these Evanuris had power and influence over the people, and maybe even some humans.
This looks like human architecture, with the statue of our people. Can these ruins date back to the time of ARLATHAN?
Early human tribes prayed to the goddess, the Lady of the Skies, who sounds a lot like Mythal, and Korth the Mountain Father, who sounds a lot like a Titan. Korth devised a plan that he might never be betrayed by his own heart, by taking it out and hiding it where no soul would ever dare search for it. He sealed it inside a golden cask, buried it in the earth, and raised around it the fiercest mountains the world had ever seen, the Frostbacks, to guard it. But without his heart, the Mountain Father grew cruel. He sent avalanches and earthquakes to torment the tribes of men. Gods and men rose against him, calling him a tyrant, but with no heart, Korth could not be slain. Soon there were no heroes left, either among men or gods, who would dare challenge Korth. And among the many followers of the Evanuris of all shapes and sizes, there were even some of their spirit brethren who were deserters, and they were exiled. For abandoning the people in their time of greatest need, for casting aside form to flee to where the earth could not reach, we declare Zebenkek and others of her ilk exiled from the lands of the Evanuris. Beware, their familiarity with shape allows them to travel paths unaided. They may be bound, but only the protection of your gods will fully shield you from their malice. They are forbidden from the earth that is our right. Even Mythal, who according to Solas
She was the best of them.
conquered one of these poor Titans. Hail Mythal, adjudicator and savior! She has struck down the pillars of the earth and rendered their domain unto the people. Praise her name forever. She might have even asked Solas to come down to the earth, out of their original realm of the Fade, to help her and join her ever-growing band of followers.
He did not want a body, but she asked him to come. He left a scar when he burned her off his face.
These statues are old, better shaped than anything I've seen on the surface. Many of them are for Mythal, though, and Fen'Harel, not in a spot of honor, but guarding, attending. Protector and Allmother, why are you honored here so far from the light of the sun? And why was the Dreadwolf at your side? The Evanuris, with their ever-expanding armies of followers, didn't consider the Dwarves, who were extensions of the Titans, to even really be real people. Mythal even thought that she was doing the Dwarves a favor and saving them from their enthrallment to the Titans by killing them. In this place we prepare to hunt the pillars of the earth. Their workers scurry, witless, soulless. This death will be a mercy. We will make the earth blossom with their passing. I am empty, filled with nothing. Mythal gives you dreams. It fills you, within you, making our leaders proud. My little stones, never yours, the sun, forever, forever. Harun said we had lost some of the old words. What if they've changed? Ghilan'nain from Ghilan'nain? Little dwarves, never yours, the sun? What did Mythal do here? So the elves saw the dwarves as mindless drones who they could free from the will of the Titan, but they ultimately ended up being collateral damage. The dwarves started to separate from the stone, whether by force or by choice to save themselves. Some began migrating up to the surface, settling and building taigs there, sacrificing their connection to the Titans in the process. The writing talks about the sad parting from the stone. Hundreds of years ago, several houses left their taigs to settle here under one leader, They were running from a war, or running so there wouldn't be a war? The dwarves feared the surface, the stoneless sky, and the fade, and particularly those who could turn into dragons, the Evanuris. From the stone have no fear of anything, but the stoneless sky betrays with wings of flame. If the surface must be breached, if there is no other way, bring weapons against the Urtok and heed their screams. Urtok means dragon. Why was it part of an ancient crest? Why were these dwarves so worried about a monster they'd never see that they worked it into their weapons? The dwarves seemed to be hoping to make peace with the elves, at the great cost of losing touch with the Titans. They were heeding the dragons. Discovered one interesting thing in all the mess. The name of this place. I puzzled it from some carvings on the doors of Firel's tomb. Kal Rapartha, a place where we may meet in peace. But the Evanuris set the dwarves to work, mining lyrium. These statues are older than anything I saw in my days with the clan. The area's dwarven, though. What were the ancient elves doing down here? Mining? Where were the dwarves? Easier to have them mine it. Not a trading post. You don't go into a friend's home, knock over their gods, and put up your own. War? I don't remember any legends about our people fighting the dwarves, though I remember my keeper telling a story about how dwarves fear the sun because of Elgar'nan's fire. The Evanuris began infiltrating and spreading deeper and deeper underground. They put up statues of their own gods in the dwarves' domain. They built things with magic. He spoke of great statues and temples. Temples! He spoke of things that could have only been made of magic and of impossible ruins untouched by darkspawn. Meanwhile, Solas started seeing that maybe his Evanuris friends weren't so great after all. They had an insatiable and dangerous lust for power. They were enslaving elves, dwarves, and probably humans.
They were arrogant and fickle. They warred amongst themselves. They had feuds, vendettas.
I trust my friends.
I know that mistake well enough to carve the angles of her face from memory.
So he began an uprising, joined by other slave rebels and dwarves representing the Titans who were literally forgotten to history, the Forgotten Ones. There are no gods. There is only the subject and the object, the actor and the acted upon. Those with will to earn dominance over others gain title not by nature but by deed. I am Ghilan'nain, and I refuse those who would exert will upon me. Let Andruil's bow crack, let June's fire grow cold. Let them build temples and lure the faithful with promises. Their pride will consume them, and I, forgotten, will claim power of my own, apart from them until I strike in mastery. A wash of powerful magic carries an impression of welcome. Images flash by. Elven slaves fleeing to this place in ancient times, greeted by others who then tend to their wounds. Words are not so much heard as felt. Fen'Harel bids you welcome. Rest, knowing the Dreadwolf guards you and his people guard this valley. In this place you are free. In trusting us, you will never be bound again.
I sought to set my people free from slavery to would-be gods. I broke the chains of all who wished to join me.
But still, things somehow turned sour between Solas and the Forgotten Ones as well. In fact, one particular Forgotten One seems to have been pretty pissed at him. In the story, Fen'Harel was captured by the hunting goddess Andruil. He had angered her by hunting the Hollow without her blessing, and she tied him to a tree and declared that he would have to serve in her bed for a year and a day to pay her back. But as she made camp that night, the dark god Inaris found them, and Inaris swore that he would kill Fen'Harel for crimes against the Forgotten Ones. Andruil and Inaris decided that they would duel for the right to claim Fen'Harel. Maybe being somewhat of a double agent finally caught up with the Dread Wolf.
Just remember, an enemy can attack, but only an ally can betray you. Betrayal is always worse.
So war was being waged on the Titans, the Forgotten Ones. The elves were taking over, but the Titans weren't going to take this lying down. As either a means of self-defense, or maybe even as a byproduct of being killed, the Titans' blood turned red and corrupted.
They made bodies from the earth, and the earth was afraid. It fought back, but they made it forget.
Red lyrium was a really dark and screwed up version of the Song of Lyrium that connected the dwarves, but now that it's red, it's like the call of an archdemon.
The red lyrium is different, darker, daggers under the skin. It eats you inside until you're nothing. They hear a different song. The song behind the door old whispers want opened. They are dead and dark and done.
My kind has ever been driven to seek out the old gods. This is our nature. It is a plague on our race. We do not begin a blight because we crave power or destruction. We obey the call of the old gods without choice.
It was dangerous, and Solas started noticing that this shit was actually pretty fucked up. What the Evanuris and their greed could unleash would end us all. Let this place be forgotten. Let no one wake its anger. The people must rise before their false gods destroy them all. The Evanuris decided to try to use this to their advantage. Their lust for power pushed them to getting more and more reckless, appropriating the Blight for their own means. One day, Andruil grew tired of hunting mortal men and beasts. She began stalking the Forgotten Ones, wicked things that thrive in the abyss. Yet even a god should not linger there, and each time she entered the void, Andruil suffered longer and longer periods of madness after returning. Andruil put on armor made of the void, and all forgot her true face. She made weapons of darkness, and plague ate her lands. She held things meant to be forgotten, and the other gods became fearful Andruil would hunt them in turn. And Ghilan'nain, another powerful elf and Andruil's lover, was also playing with fire. She was a mad scientist and was experimenting with the Blight to create more power. She even started a Blight monster-making factory down in the deep roads. The middle band, with its scenes of healing, seemed now twisted, wrong. No longer did it seem as though mages were drawing corruption and disease out of the wounded and infirm, but instead they forced it in, pushing it through and into the fallen bodies. The expressions on the faces of those elven rulers betrayed a contempt that was almost palpable, the beatific smiles edged with disgust and disdain for the creatures at their feet. And the subjects, far from kneeling in reverence as Ramesh had first thought, seemed more to be cowering in terror. Ghilan'nain kept herself apart from the people. She used her power to create animals none had ever seen. The skies teemed with her monsters, the land with her beasts. Andruil hunted them all, and after a year of killing, approached Ghilan'nain with an offer. The gods would share their power with Ghilan'nain, but only if she destroyed her creations, for they were too untamed to remain among the people. So Ghilan'nain was ascended into an Evanuris, revered as a god among the people due to her work with the Blight.
The Blight corrupts everything it touches. Those who believe themselves capable of using it safely are mad.
Solas began disapproving of both sides' methods for war, and even Mythal may have realized her mistake in fighting Titans, and tried to be the voice of reason among her brethren.
She cared for her people. She protected them. She was a voice of reason.
But then,
she was betrayed as I was betrayed, as the world was betrayed.
They killed Mythal. A crime for which an eternity of torment is the only fitting punishment.
So that was it, the final straw. Solas had had enough. His rebellion only led to more death and destruction, and corruption and pestilence was spreading out of control. He came up with his plan.
Long ago, there were two clans of gods. The Creators looked after the people, the Forgotten Ones preyed upon us. And one god who was neither, Fan Harel, the Dread Wolf. He was kin to the Creators, and in the old days often helped them in their endless war against the Forgotten Ones. Fan Harel was clever. He could walk among both clans of gods without fear, and both believed he was one of them. He went to each side and told them the other had forged a terrible weapon, a blade that would end the war. He told the Creators it was forged in the heavens, and the Forgotten Ones that it was hidden in the abyss. And when the gods went seeking it, he sealed them both in their realms forever.
Solas put up the veil, separating the Fade and the physical realms completely, in the hope of restoring the balance that once was. But all it did was leave chaos in its wake.
The veil took everything from the elves, even themselves. Had I not created the veil, the Evanuris would have destroyed the entire world. A mistake. One of many made by a much younger elf who was certain he knew everything.
He took the capital city of ARLATHAN, which had been overrun by the Blight by this point, and quarantined it in the Fade behind the Veil, which can now be seen as the only constant in the Fade, the Black City.
Look, the Black City. Almost close enough to touch.
The creation of the Veil put the Titans into a slumber. With the physical world cut off from the Fade, the Titans were effectively tranquilized.
No dreams with the cord cut.
We are here. We have waited. We have slept. We are sundered. We are crippled. We are polluted. We endure. We wait. We have found the dreams again. We will awaken. They were sundered from the dwarves, disconnected from the stone, and these dwarves individualized and lost their unique power.
Dwarves are the severed arm of a once mighty hero, lying in a pool of blood, undirected. Whatever skill at arms it had, gone forever. Although it might twitch to give the appearance of life, it will never dream.
Do you write to reach across? To hear the song that was sundered?
I'm not sure what that even means, kid, but probably.
And eventually, as millennia passed, the Titans were erased from Dwarven memory, literally becoming forgotten ones.
Why would they do that?
Because someone in power demanded it.
And now all the dwarves have left is a subtler version of a song that they hear from the stone, who is asleep.
The rhythm has faded, and so have the tremors. But the song still echoes. It tells me things. Our people have a strong connection to the stone. We feel it in a way topsiders cannot.
That is, only if they're not a topsider.
Do you ever miss life beneath the earth? The call of the stone?
Nah, whatever the stone, capital S, is, it was gone by the time my parents had me.
But do you miss it?
How could I miss what I never had?
Solas's power was sapped after this huge feat, and he was forced into a slumber to heal, millennia passing as he watched from the Fade. And after the destruction of ARLATHAN, when the gods could no longer hear our prayers, it is said that Fen'Harel spent centuries in a far corner of the earth, giggling madly and hugging himself in glee.
I lay in dark and dreaming sleep while countless wars and ages passed. I woke still weak a year before I joined you.
And then, only 50 years later, as Solas slept, the old gods started whispering and calling to the human Neramenian tribes through the Fade in their dreams. They taught them magic, and even blood magic.
The light. We sought the golden light. You offered the power of the gods themselves.
The Neramenian humans began getting more and more powerful, and without leadership, the remaining elves who weren't collateral damage warred among themselves.
The Shemlin did not destroy ARLATHAN. We Elven warred upon ourselves.
Even the Avar and Alamari humans who followed the elves seemed to have warred as well. When waked we walked where willows wail, whose withered windings wont wassail. We weary worn with whited wail, where wavering with wanyon ward. When wishing waned, we whiters ward. When wolfen wan, we wastrels ward. An elven poem recites a similar sentiment. We it lost eternity or the ruined tree of the people. Time won't help when the land of dreams is no longer our journey. We tried to lead despite the eventual failing of our markings. To the inevitable and troubling freedom we are committed. When we could no longer believe, we lost glory to war. When the wolf failed/won, we lost the people to war. The elves, who were taking the side of the Titans and the Forgotten Ones, sought refuge in the deep roads with the dwarves, only to be forgotten as well.
Some were saved, carried by fugitives from the Elven city. Their sorrow awoke the stone, and her children sheltered them. They found a sanctuary in the deep halls of Cad Halash, now known as Kadash.
For 2,000 years, the elves fought among themselves without any real leadership or guidance, stuck in the physical realm that wasn't naturally theirs, losing their immortality with no way to get back to their home realm. Finally, the humans of Tevinter became powerful enough to take advantage of the elves' weakness and enslave them. The Tevinter Imperium grew, as did the worshipping of the old gods, and 500 years later, the high priest magisters of those old gods finally found a way to breach the Black City physically.
I once breached the Fade in the name of another to serve the old gods of the Empire in person. I found only chaos and corruption, dead whispers.
By the magisters entering the Black City, the Blight was released into the world yet again, creating the first Darkspawn. No one knows what it is that drives the Darkspawn in their relentless search for the sleeping old gods. Perhaps it is instinct, as moths will fly into torch flames. Perhaps there's some remnant of desire for vengeance upon the ones who goaded the magisters to assault heaven. Whatever the reason, when Darkspawn find one of these ancient dragons, it is immediately afflicted by the taint. It awakens, twisted and corrupted, and leads the Darkspawn in a full-scale invasion of the land, a blight. So those first Darkspawn, drawn to the old gods by the calling, found and released the first archdemon Dumat, and the first blight began. Something I wanted to be in this mega theory is that the Evanuris and the old gods are clearly somehow related, but I'm still too undecided about how. There were 7 old god dragons and 7 Evanuris that were locked away. The first teaser trailer we got in 2018 shows 5 dulled out domes around this circle, and 2 that are lit up. Almost like the 5 killed old gods and the 2 that are still alive. This also matches up perfectly with this image from the teaser for Dragon Age Day 2022. Except Varric's narration is talking about Elven Gods, not old gods. And we have very specific symbol shapes in each dome. We see in Trespasser, the Missing comic, and even all the way back in Origins, that these shapes represent headpieces of the Evanuris. The Veilguard gameplay trailer even shows statues all around Solas' ritual with these shapes. If we turn this image on its side to line it up with the 2018 image, we see that the 2 shapes that are still lit up and still alive are the shapes of the headpieces of the 2 Elven Gods that we'll be facing in Veilguard, Elgar'nan and Ghilan'nain. Whether the Evanuris actually are the old gods, or if the old gods serve as some kind of key to the Evanuris' prison, or if they're even just their beloved pets, I can't decide.
So what is it then? A corrupted dragon? Simply another Darkspawn?
It is connected to Corypheus. Such a relation goes beyond mere control. It is a bond.
It makes you wonder if that's all the archdemons themselves are, pets to beings who no longer exist.
I would not go as far as that.
I mean, look at these dragons' distinct horn shapes in the Veilguard trailers. They look an awful lot like the distinct shapes of the headpieces of each of the Evanuris that are freed, and each of the symbols that were lit up on that circle from the teaser. So could that mean that their headpieces represent their dragons? Are those dragons the old god archdemons? Or maybe it's their dragon forms. I guess we'll find out soon. The Veilguard is taking place almost 1,200 years after the first Blight, so there's a lot more history involved in the Dragon Age universe. But all the stuff I mentioned is what I think is most likely going to be addressed in Veilguard, and I can't wait to find out which, if any, of these theories is actually true. What are your favorite Dragon Age theories you can't wait to find out about?